All right, let me do this shit. Let me do. Okay. All right, let me do. All right, let me do this. I'm live now. I'm back, guys. Let me see. Okay, all right, let me go. Let's go. What up, YouTube? 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 This your boy. This is What up, YouTube? What up, YouTube? This is No Filter, man. Hitting you guys again today with another episode of Creators Block. I did an episode, last episode of episode called Comic Book Crash, and I'm trying to wait to see Johnny come back. But today's episode, we're gonna on today's episode of Creators Block, we will be discussing the Comic Book Crash. We'll be discussing Comic Book Crash. Will it happen? Will it not happen? And if it does happen, what's the solutions to the problem? Why do you think comics are crashing today? And I don't know if it's Jen. Hold on, let me I'm live now, so let me see. Let me see. All right. What up, Renee? What up, Renee? Um, yeah, let me see what I was gonna say this episode. Today's episode, I'm gonna be discussing this is my part two version. This is my second part. This is my second part to the first my second part to the episode, the first last episode I just did about the comic book crash and could it happen. Well, today I want to discuss it, and I want to go more in depth with it. I kind of set it up a little bit because I had broke some of my thoughts down a little bit, so I might monologue it a little bit. I'm gonna monologue this and try to gather some of my thoughts together with this one. But I was thinking about this topic, and shout out to Johnny Midnight. Shout out to Johnny Midnight. Let me send him a link to this thing. Let me invite him to the chat. Let me see. One second. Well, one second. All right. Make sure you join in the conversation. Um, yeah, but today I'm gonna be discussing the comic book. I'm gonna be discussing comic books and comic books not selling and the future of comic books. And if a crash does happen, I don't see it happening currently, but whatever. But let me get to the crux of this video. Crux of this video. Um, when I was coming up with this topic of part two series, I wanted to go more in depth with it, so I'm going very in depth with this topic. Let me just say this. Um, do I think the comic books are crashing? Do I think the comic books or the comic book industry is going to die? Be honest with you, with the way the sales are looking, yes, I think. And it's kind of what scares me the most, because if y'all know about me, this is why I kind of create this podcast for. I create this podcast solely for a main reason for those who does create content, whether it's nonfiction, you into sci-fi, fantasy fiction, you read a lot of literature, you read a lot of fiction, whether it's comic books, novels, Game of Thrones. If you're into basically just like fiction, like if you just love like creating characters, writing, doping, drawing, whatever, this is for like creators content. So when the sole main reason of why I started this podcast was because I wanted to just be honest with you, and basically because I love comic books so much. Comic books got me through a lot of my times. Comic books got me through a lot of tough times in my life. I think I always embraced comic books, but I embraced comics like 21, 22, 20, 21, 22, 23. I started embracing comics. I always embraced it, but I never really wanted to have a career profession in it. And when I started writing comic books, when I started drawing or creating characters, I just did it as a fun time hobby thing. And the older I got, I turned 29. I turned 29 in October. I'm like I said, what date to dox myself? But like, comic books is one of those things that made me fully embrace being the geek I am today, is because of comic books. And it's a scary thought. It's a scary thought and a scary thing to think. You know that one day comic books is not going to be around, and it's a scary thought. you know um Comic books are not going to be around, and I know sometimes we live in a world today. We have entertainment. For me, I'm a black guy myself, and sometimes like I can't even watch entertainment, and I look at the comic books entertainment, not with everything being political, but from sports to politics to comic books, everything being so political nowadays. I think people, include myself. I'm back, guys. I had to take care of some permanently, but it's a scary to back to my thought I had. It's a scary thing to think that comic books is not no longer gonna be around, and you know, I want to go very in depth with this because I feel like more different, and the reason why I think the problem versus the solutions, and let me first address the problem. I think the main problem is people that write in the comic books, the editors, the publishers, especially people that especially these writers, millennials, these people that write comic books, they don't care about the hobby, they don't care about the craft, they don't care about the sportsmanship, they don't care about the history lore. Um, that comic books have been around for so many years, and it's a scary thought to think that a world where, you know, we grew up with Marvel, we grew up with DC, we grew up with Captain America, Iron Man, and, you know, the Hulk, and we grew up with these characters, and to think a world where, and this is why I hated when Disney brought them. It's a scary thought to think. You know what up, Johnny?
Hey, what's going on? I thought we were
What up,
doing
Johnny?
this. I thought we were doing this in the evening, but that's okay. I'm here all day. We're talking about the comic book crash today, huh?
Yeah, I did part one to it. I monologued a little bit, so I kind of set it up a little bit. But what's your thoughts on it? Like, do you think, like, so I was looking at sales before you showed. I was looking at the comic book sales of like all the current comic books, and the sales ain't looking good. Like IDW lost, I think, 2 million, I think, in publishing. And I'm looking at this shit like, man, like, god damn, dude, this ain't looking good, man.
That's a big hit too. I mean, are you talking about just like the print or even the online sales and everything else like that?
Online, not just it sells everything.
Their entire income, their revenue streams have $2 million hit.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is, I think a lot of people don't realize. Like, I talk about this, just a scary thought, but like, I'm pretty sure you talked about it before. But like,
yeah,
I can see a world without comic books, man. It's scary to think though. Like, god damn, like, it's scary as hell. Think about it though. It's scary as hell.
A world without comic books, that would be. I don't know what life would be like. I mean, that's you know. You and I don't know what that would be. What that would be like, where you just can't get them anymore, except in like flea markets. You know, back issues in flea markets. You know, imagine that, or in antique shops or something, because they're no longer being produced. All it is just what it would be for us, you know, at least throughout the rest of our lives, a back catalog, and that's it. And, you know, you could go and get it online too, you know, get certain issues and stuff on eBay or something. Because, you know, that's... I don't know if it's going to, you know, when we talk about a comic book crash doesn't mean a complete collapse.
Yeah. But you need to learn how to start putting water in the...
But, hang on. No Filter's having some technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, we're talking about like a complete collapse where there's just no more comic books being published anywhere. I don't foresee that happening anytime too soon. But what they're going to have to do is like what they did, like what Marvel had to do back in the '90s, just scale back. They're going to have to kill a whole bunch of titles off. That's exactly what's going to have to happen. DC's going to do it. And there will be some companies that are smaller, like IDW. I mean, yeah, to us, they're big, but they're not. They haven't been around that long. They don't have that many titles or anything like that. You know, not as much to the extent as Marvel, DC, or even Image. I mean, what do you think about a company like Image, which is totally creator content controlled, okay? And the people that own, the creator of each title actually owns that title and has free reign on it. Do you think they would be able to weather that kind of a crash more so than a giant conglomerate like DC or Marvel?
I think this is my opinion on the subject. I think all companies are going to suffer from it, because I think that it's like, they always say it's like one bad apple spoiled for a bunch. Because this thing, you got, I just take DC Rebirth. Like I talk about like I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say the Walmart I go to. I'm not gonna say where it's at, but the Walmart I go to. Like I buy, like, I think it's 5 comics in the pack. I think it's 4 to 5 comic books in the pack. Like you buy 5 comic books for $5, which is not bad, whatever.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, but I buy like DC Rebirth, and I buy a lot of books from Walmart, and I buy it. And my thing is, like, when I think about it, I'm like, this is kind of, seeing it, because all the times I've been to Walmart, I've never seen them sell comic books. I'm like, okay, all the years, maybe this is a telltale sign for the future to come. I mean, that's not a bad thing. I think it's good to always expand the product, but I think when you talk about comic books, like, one of the things that really scares me the most thoroughly, flat out, for me, is that I think, to address your point, to address your question, to address the point you were saying, I think, to me, if DC Marvel falls, because they can fall now. They ain't, they ain't like the movies where they ain't got to be in our corporation backing them up. They ain't got $100 million budgets. Okay, publishing.
Right. Marvel comic books are not the movies. Totally different companies. Exactly.
Yes. It's two different things, and I think that a world where I think if Marvel falls, DC falls, because if DC is the only big conglomerate, they're gonna fall because they're gonna need competition, and I always say competition for other people. So if you think Marvel falls, and I can kind of see it happening with the way these writers going on, with Dan Slott, Brian Michael Bendis, you can go down at the Antos, you can go down to editors at Marvel. They don't care about the sales. They keep degrading the fans. They keep trying to force diversity on people's throats. They keep trying to force agendas. They made Captain Marvel, she's a transgender character. And then you got Riri Williams, and you got Squirrel Girl, then you got
Squirrel Girl, yeah.
And it's like you got so many of these characters that nobody's not reading that shit. Like I've been, because of the comic shop I go to, which scares me the most, because I don't just buy comic books from there. I buy toys and stuff. So
right. Yeah, I mean, it's not just the book. There's a lot of ancillary merchandise too.
Yeah, it's a lot of merchandise that gets sold, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. Look. And I was looking at the sales, and it was an article I forgot what article it was coming from, and it was talking about comic shops going out of business, like in different countries, and they're talking about this is bad. And I'm like, if comic books are not selling to comic shops, this is bad for business, because here's the thing: IDW is small, Image is kind of small, even though Image is more creative control content. Image is still a small company, right? They can still My thing is like I'm gonna address the point. Where Renee said in the chat, he was like, he says solutions to solve the comic book crash: one, for our social brands and hire writers who aren't trying to push the agenda. I think that definitely will work, and hire professional artists. But I think that with the way the industry going on, and I'm gonna relate comic books to the NFL. I'm gonna relate comic books to the NFL. It's so damn political now. That even if Marvel did restore the faith back to the fans, a lot of fans gonna feel alienated. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you called me a piece of shit because I didn't like Captain Lit and transgender Marvel." Like, whatever. Like, so, it's like I'm using these so prime example. Like, I hated New 52. Like, I New 52, but I hated New 52. Like, the only thing New 52 that came out good was the Court of Owls and Talon. That's the only thing I thoroughly enjoyed about like the comic book New 52 and Batman stories and the rest of it. But the rest of it was just trash to me, in my honest opinion. Superman was not no news reporter. He was a fireman. I'm like, y'all just taking everything that everybody believed in, and they rebooted New Rebirth. But I was just on another point that I think we didn't raise and break up in the chat. He was like, hire professional artists. But I think that the days of like Dennis O'Neil, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, them days are gone, man. The millennials, they took it over. They took the industry over, and now the comic book industry is not only dying out where it needs to be. It's like a lot of the people, like I said before, it's the professional writer. Yeah, you can hire the professional writers, but if a professional writer have a different view of what the company wants, say for instance, Marvel hires a writer that's a conservative, right? He may have.
Imagine if Marvel hired Stuart Hunkler or you.
Like I'm saying, like for me, it's like I wouldn't have lasted a day at Marvel because
definitely have a point. about comic books. The same even goes a long way. Television programming. Take a look at how Cartoon Network has historically devolved.
Oh yeah.
And,
Oh
and then after these years of evolving, there pops up a little brief, small renaissance period where you have good cartoons like A Regular Show, Adventure Time, etc. And then it all goes back to shit. Now the hot popping cartoon is what? Steven Universe, a huge, massive SJW cartoon where you have these strong, shapely women. One is fat, and you have this overall attitude of positivity. Everybody can do it. You go. Kids, women, everybody can fight the good fight and take on those big bad villains. So this whole entire millennial just delusion has taken over programming on television complete. Cartoon Network fucking sucks. Take a look at the cartoons that are on now. You have a shitty spin-off cartoon of Powerpuff Girls. You have a shitty spin-off off of Teen Titans called Teen Titans Go. It's garbage.
Yeah.
You have another shitty spin-off off of Ben 10. It's garbage too. Like the good quality shows that were pre-2009.
Yeah, I'm saying it's about yeah. I would say it's a little over 5 years ago is when everything started turning to shit. With comic books, with cartoons, with pretty much any of the media right now. I go on Netflix. And there's nothing I want to watch. I want to watch the Marvel shows. That's about it. And that is until Disney rips them away. But it's all these movies, with a strong, independent female lead. And, when I read the synopsis, I say to myself, I'm not sitting through an hour and a half of this or hour and 20 minutes of this shit.
I mean,
I'm just not doing it.
And to address your point, this is coming from creating myself, which is why I created this series, is that I create female characters by creating them with flaws. And I feel like these characters, they trying to do it because it's the political climate we're living in. Like what if I was saying is that I don't mind strong female characters. I don't mind strong female characters. If you give me a character, but give her a flaw, let at least have a losing an issue, like 1 or 2 issues. Then she ain't gotta win every darn thing. She ain't gotta know it all. Like that's my problem with I talk about I look at Iron Man as a so prime example in the movies. Iron Man in the MCU is one of the biggest characters in Marvel Cinematic Universe. But you got a 15-year-old black girl. Like a 15-year-old black girl, Riri Williams, she knows it all. Now she's a villain. It's like they was trying to. You had a great character. You had a great character that like Tony Stark. I mean, Tony Stark is popular. Everything he never did. He's an A-list character now because of the movies. Won't you just base it off movies? I remember when Batman 1989 came out. The Tim Burton Batman came out. I remember when that movie first came out. That movie was like an event when it first came out. I remember the comic books. I read Batman. I read Batman comic books coming up. I remember when the movie was coming out to hit theaters, and I remember reading the comic book. It was not the Bruce Wayne. The Bruce Wayne they drew in the comic book was not the Bruce Wayne in the movies, but they had the costume in the car and everything just to promote the movies. And I would think that Disney or ABC, the companies that that own Marvel, be like, you know what, man, we can bake off this thing. How about we have Tony Stark look like Robert Downey Jr. in the movies? I mean, you have to pay for his likeness. You have to get him for him to agree to likeness, but he made the character popular. Won't you modernize the character? Take Chris Evans in the Captain America movies and draw him in the comic books. I'm like, not only you were breaking it, give Mark Ruffalo, who's the Hulk in the Avenger movies, base it. I know people say you shouldn't do it, but if the Marvel Cinematic Universe is making more money than ever, people would not only buy the comic books, they'd be like, oh snap, I know Robert Downey Jr. I love Robert Downey Jr. And they buy Iron Man comic books whether they should or not. But the thing is bank off the popularity of the MCU. And I'm on just this point too. Much as I love comic book movies, I believe the movies are hurting. The movies is hurting the comic book, because I have friends. I read the source material. You know, I like to read. When I watch something, I want to know a little bit more going into it. I don't want to go in blind and oblivious. But like when I have tons of friends who say, you know what, man, I don't want to, like, I don't have to read the comic books. I watch the movies. And I was like, you got to read the source material to understand what it is. Like, if you don't know, like, the Black Panther movies come out in February of next year, Black History Month. You know, Black Panther movie coming out, and my friends like, man, I'm finna see Black Panther. I'm like,
Totally
man,
doesn't have anything to do with politics, wouldn't it?
no,
Yeah,
but
you don't
like,
think?
no, but I'm saying, like, the thing is, like, besides all that point, I was telling them, I was like, dude, you gotta read a Black Panther comic book, because I have like old Black Panther comic books, like during the back in the day, and I read them.
Man, they're trying to be conscious.
Yeah, but I'm
They're
not doing
making
it.
that because they're conscious. There's
Yeah,
writers that are pro-blacks and conscious over there.
Yeah, but I'm doing it because I want to know.
That's right.
I want to know more about the character going into it, so I don't go blind, dumb, and deaf below. Why he's the king of Wakanda, and he's royalty. Like,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
shit, no filter, man. I mean, when was Black Panther's first appearance in the comic books? It was like 1968. So I mean, he's been around for a long time, and so is the Kingdom of Wakanda. Shit. Captain America's shield is made out of vibranium, which is mined in Wakanda. You know, I mean, yeah, there's a huge, like you said, source material interconnection of that Marvel Avengers mythology right there. You can't just get it. Yeah, you can't absorb it all in and show that in a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, and I get that point. I get that, but I'm saying at least know something. Like X-Men, I always knew about the X-Men movies, but X-Men Apocalypse, that's before the movie came out. And the movie was shit, but like X-Men Apocalypse, I wanted to know about Apocalypse. He was the first mutant, so like I wanted to know going into what he was like, and that's my point. Even if the movie was bad or good, that's not the point. The point is like, I want to know something going into it. Like I'm a firm believer of not just being a content creator of doing knowledge. Like this is the reason why I do create the series. Like when I create characters, and if the character's attorney, what type of attorney is he? An entertainment attorney? He's attorney in the law. What type of do he do? Criminal justice? Do he music? Just whatever type of attorney. And that's what I'm talking about. Why I do this series, because I want creators to understand, when you creators, and Johnny probably tell you more in depth about it, that when you create characters, man, you got to go very depth with your character. You got to have depth. You got to understand what's the character motivation. Like if the character's a billionaire, like with Black Arrow, you know, with Johnny talking about aerodynamics. Like when you talk, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, but it was like
to be character progression. The character just can't be a random Yahoo nobody that all of a sudden woke up one day on a strange side of bed, had these strange powers, and then was met by a villain, and now all of a sudden they're saving the planet. Like, no. There's some backstory, give him some progression.
Yeah, you have to.
Become this great, powerful being overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody believed in the character. They get bored with that character. He would just be this, you know, all powerful, like you said, Yahoo that nobody really knows anything about. And since they don't know anything about him, they don't care about him. I think it was Ernest Hemingway once said that, like, even when he writes a bellboy in his books and his stories, he knows everything about that bellboy. He might not give all that information to the reader, but he is able to, you know, put bits and pieces of it into the storyline so that the reader will understand the gravity of every character, and they become living, breathing entities rather than, like what Mortify was just saying, this cardboard two-dimensional cutout.
And that's the point.
Powers.
Yeah, and just the point just the point Mortify had made. That's my problem with Riri Williams. She knows it all. That's my problem with Captain Lesbian Marvel and Squirrel Girl and Miss America, Miss Chavez. Like these characters, like they have no flaws. Like they know it all. They feminists. They just that. They empowered. Yeah, you can empower a character, but have them flaws. Have them lose when a fight. Have the villain beat them, and when they almost die, they have time to think about in the next issue where they face a villain and have doubt whether they can beat the villain or not because they almost killed from the previous issue. Like that's how I write an issue. That's how I write a story. Because like the older I get, more when I think back to when I was like 21, 22, 23 years old, and I created my first character. I'm not gonna say his name on air, but like when I created my first character, I tell you flat out, dude, like, man, like when I first created him, dude, I had no depth because like I think Armchair said it, I think Armchair said it best that, you know, when you first create your character, you just have the genuine idea, you have no backstory, what drives this character, you just like, oh, this person's a superhero. And you know, go just the point you were saying, Mortify, is that guys, when you create characters, man, you gotta go very depth, like you gotta go very deep. If you got a character that's Age of Egypt, know the history, like if you're doing a character during ancient Roman times, know the history. If you got a gang,
yeah,
you have a like if you have a group of 5 members and they 5 bank robbers, explain to them how they became bank robbers, their backstory, how they grew up, whether they grew up in a poor impoverished neighborhood or not. Like if the character's black, don't just focus on the character being black. That's why I say I create tons of black characters, but for me, I don't focus on the character being black. I focus on the character being a person. And when I do that it's because one is situation. It's more to that character besides the character being black. That character has a story. He has a backstory. He has a solid supporting cast. I think also one thing to me goes back to my point. When I look at the comic book crash, to go back to the topic, comic book crashing here. I think that to just a point that social justice warriors. But I think that with just like politics or just like entertainment, is that the social justice cancer shit. These social justice warriors, they ruin everything. They don't care about the history and the lore. And what they don't realize is the fact that a lot of people with Marvel and they bad business tactics and being assholes and treating the fans like crap and blocking the fans because you know they don't like because these editors can't take harsh criticism. But if you go back to the back in the day, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, whatever, people wrote letters to Marvel. Well, they were Timely Comics at the time, but before they became Marvel. But like people wrote into the letters to Marvel and DC saying, you know what, I didn't like what you did with Fantastic Four and issue, whatever, so on. So this needs to be done. That needs to be done. And
yeah, if you were lucky, they would actually publish that on the back page of the comic book, like Daredevil had Let's Level with Daredevil. Yeah.
Criticism. You know who really can't take criticism well? These punk ass game journalists and these game developers. Cliff Bazinski, who is getting his ass ripped apart for that shitty Lawbreakers video game that has seen players go below 20 players, and basically these punk ass game journalists that call gamers toxic when they criticize them and they call the gaming culture toxic. Those people especially can't take criticism.
Yep.
Like a lot of these devs, they will bitch about gamers having high expectations for video games and say, well, we gotta have a high budget because gamers have high expectations. No, you don't. You lying piece of shit. Half of that money is put towards marketing. Tell me how you paying Mountain Dew that, hey, if you drink a bottle of Mountain Dew, there's a code where you can get a free clothing item right underneath the bottle cap. How does that help your game? And yet these motherfuckers want to blame gamers for having high budgets and not being able to produce a profit when they are spending too much money advertising this shit instead of producing these games and making sure that there's quality control. You wonder why so many of these games come out broken.
Yep. Yeah, or they're not even finished. They're basically, they have a lot of advertising put into it, a lot of wonderful promotional commercials for it. Which you don't see any of the stuff in game on that commercial, but it was just filmed in the studio, and all you wind up getting is a gold dip turd. It's
and the thing a lot of people don't realize will piss them.
That's why many times when I am about to buy a video game, I gotta watch a Let's Play and stuff. I gotta see how well it's developed and what the people say about it, and I want to actually see gameplay footage from a person who's not paid to play that game, to see what their what their opinions of it are, and whether or not I'm entertained watching it. If I'm entertained watching it, I'm sure I'd be very entertained playing it.
That's why I get mad at people who want to talk about the comic book crashing, and who I really blame. I really blame Marvel, man. It's like these people, and then you got the editors at Marvel talking about, man, the fans are assholes. You are taking some people, somebody's hobbies, somebody's passions. People love comic books. Like, you don't understand. I haven't borrowed a comic book in a minute. But my thing is, like, dude, like, when I start embracing comic books and start writing and creating and start, like, saw how fun it was, like, yes, I get writer's block from time to time, a lot of times, but besides me getting writer's block, it's fun sitting there writing, trying to figure out how you can continue to move the story forward. And I get so darn mad at these social warriors, especially these, I like to call diversity hires. I look at the milkshake crew at Marvel, and they care more about, they care more about blocking people on Twitter than focusing on the damn comic books. And you look at the comic books like, God damn, Marvel, your shit is shit. I know you got Disney backing you up, but this is the reason why I said, I know Johnny said it before, he was an inker. And he said, when Disney brought Marvel, he got fucked over. I'm like, that's why I fucking hated when fucking Disney brought Marvel, because I'm like, dang, the comic book division gonna fucking suck. They're gonna probably make some movies out of them. They're gonna make tons of money off of what they're doing with the movies currently. They're gonna make some money. They're gonna make billions of dollars off the movies, and then the comic book division gonna suck ass, because anytime Disney buy a property, this is why I say fuck Disney. Is that anytime they buy a property, they don't buy it. They don't buy it because they got some great history behind it. Look at Star Wars, man. Star Wars. Basically, Episode 8 gonna be damn the return of the Jedi, man. That it's gonna be damn near copy paste the formula. And it's like when Disney buy stuff, they don't buy it because they want to come up with some new ideas. They buy it just to conglomerate and say, we got this IP, we purchased it. They don't even care about the comic book division. And
like what SFO was talking about, how Nintendo is so controlling on that kind of those kind of issues.
But the thing is, I'll let you go modify. But like the thing is, like, I get so darn mad at people talk about, like, and you got assholes on YouTube talking about, man, y'all just bitches. Y'all need to accept the fact that you can't have your darn way. It's not about having your way. These people are taking characters that's been around 70, that have been has been around, have tons of great stories around them. People, I mean, look, you look at comic books. This is why I want to discuss this topic too. Is that veterans and veterans that fought in World War I, World War II in Germany, they read comic books. They read Captain America, Superman. They read these comic books. Like, they read comic books to get through the war. Something that helped people help soldiers get through a time of war. You taking something like this and you run it because you mad Donald Trump is president? So fucking what? Stop being a bitch about the shit and stop just because you lost the during election. Don't take it out on their own comic books. Let people enjoy the media as it is. Like the same thing with the NFL. I don't give a fuck about the protest because I want to watch the NFL. I don't give a damn what they're protesting. Look, I want to watch it. I want to watch something without being something political. Can I have a comic book without being talked down to? That's my fucking point. I get mad at that type of shit.
No, I understand no filter, and it's been going on for a little while now, especially with Marvel. I remember back in, I guess this was around 2011. There was a Captain America issue where Captain America and Falcon were going to stop this protest by the then Tea Party, and they had branded the Tea Party as KKK and fascist and white supremacists, every one of them. And
that's another thing I have a problem with. Trying to politicize everything, trying to insert politics into everything. You see it in the NFL and sports and in the NBA. You see it on television. You see it on YouTube community, trying to politicize everything. Like, fuck off. And I think you can directly correlate this towards with the agenda of adding women into it. Because notice, all of this shit wasn't really happening before. You didn't really politics and video games unless it was Jack Thompson trying to outlaw video games, then I would understand. But you didn't really get this politicism in video games. You didn't get this politicism in the NBA and NFL. Correlate this exactly with the agenda of adding women into it. Once you have these women into it, I find it strange. Now we're talking about politics. We're softening the rules. We're less objective. We're talking less about the shit that matters, and we're talking about this external that really does not matter.
Mortified, what they're doing is they're turning everything into fucking Sesame Street. They really are. There's always a lesson to be learned. You know, I'm sick of it too. And I really think that they need to take that stuff, especially, man, take it out of football. Come on. Why do they have to shove that in your face during a ball game, right?
Oh yeah, Black Lives Matter. It totally has to do with Tom Brady deflating footballs. It totally has to do with whether or not Cleveland's football team is going to suck this year. Yeah, that matters.
Yeah, and that's just it, Mortified. I mean, they are politicizing everything, and it is becoming. I think people are eventually just going to naturally get burned out by it and tune out to all types of that kind of media. And that's sort of like what they were talking about with the comic book crash. People like No Filter just getting sick of it too. We're just going to stop buying the issues.
I'll say this. If you watch the NBA, if you watch the NFL, stop supporting them. Stop giving them your money. Fuck the NBA. Fuck the NFL. Fuck the video game industry. I don't buy many games throughout the year anyway. And if you can, get that shit used.
And so just my point is, like, I'm a black man in America. I am so fucking tired of fucking politics, man. It's entering in everything. And what they don't realize, I'll talk about this, but what these millennials and these social warriors don't understand. Look, you lost the election. Move the fuck on with this shit. It's not necessarily, and they said that. I even look at this whole idea with the whole thing with sports. I relate comic books to sports. It's like, we can't, there's people out there who just want to watch a football game. They don't give a fuck about your political stance. Look, what you do in the off season, if you want your political activist shit, do it on the off season. Man, when nobody gives a flying fuck, when you doing what you're supposed to do. When you on the field, dude, play the game. Nobody wants to hear your political stance, whatever. And it's like my thing with people, the same thing with the comic books. These social warriors. A lot of people at Marvel, is spending their time bashing Trump. I'm like, dude, first of all, Donald Trump is the fucking president. Whether you like it fucking or not, he's the president for the next 4 years. You can either get used to it, accept it for what it is, move the fuck on, and find something else to talk about here. Or you can either continue to throw a temper tantrum like them NFL football players and these pro-black and Black Lives Matter idiots talking about race in America. I'm like, dude, it's like, dude, like, life is too fucking short. This is one thing. The older I get, the more I start realizing the fact that life is too fucking short to be complaining about shit you have no control of. My thing is, like, comic books is a form of media that people use to escape this shit. Nobody wants to hear about Donald. Like, if I'm reading a comic book, I don't want to hear about Donald Trump, dude. I don't want to hear this shit. I want to see Captain America punch Hitler in the face, dude. I don't care about it. I don't care. Like, and the thing is, I'm a black man in America, but I don't care about race issues anymore because it's so much of a dumbed down issue. You got every time they turn on the news, oh, it's the protests in the NFL. And when people, like you said before, people are getting burned out on the shit. Like, I feel the same way, Mortified. I'm like, and to be honest with you, by the time I had a hard time watching the NFL because of the Patriots, but that's about it. Like, I have a hard time watching shit, like, even reading comic books nowadays because it's like everything nowadays is so damn insensitive. Like, the athletes throwing a tantrum, celebrities celebrities talking down to the fans, talking about you a piece of shit if you like Donald Trump or whatever, you voted for the dude. And it's like, all y'all doing is
fuck you.
Yeah, I'm like,
even though you buy my movies, even though you're the reason that I get to live a luxurious life, fuck you.
Yeah.
But that's,
and all they do is
I feel the same way back. When what's his name?
Yeah. And all they technically doing is making it easy for Trump to get reelected for 2020. I said when he become president, I'm calling that shit now. He don't get reelected. And when you do get reelected, I hope the liberals
Yeah.
cry again, dude, because I'm tired of these motherfuckers, man. Like stick it to them, man. That's the reason why I can hate Donald Trump. Like he's a fucking president. Barack Obama, man, for 8 years, that motherfucker didn't do shit. Okay, so my thing is like y'all holding this motherfucker to a high standard when he like first of all, Barack Obama didn't do nothing, man. So the question is, I'm so sick and tired of these people talking like everything is so damn political nowadays. We can't even have entertainment. There's people out there. There's black and white people out there.
Let's
And
talk
people,
about these
period.
politics.
There's people. There's people.
That's what matters, right?
Yeah, it just
totally relevant to kicking a field goal or throwing a full touchdown pass or having a pass intercepted. Yeah, it totally makes a difference of whether or not Captain America is going to have a great episode in a brand new comic. It totally matters. It totally helps the character progression. Just adding this political bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's the same thing. And when people don't realize, it's like I talk about Johnny. I think Johnny Dress in one of the early episodes of Credits Block. He said, you can have a gay character. Don't don't announce that shit. Just focus on the character having superpowers. Whether the person can run real fast, slow down time, got super strength. Focus on the person. Focus on the person's character traits rather than the person. Oh, this person's transgender. Like Captain Marvel, she's transgender now. Like nobody gives a fuck about that shit. Focus on the goddamn character. I don't care about this character being trans. I'm not trans.
But if they gotta keep shoving it in your face, then it's just like I kicked your ass. Oh, and by the way, did you know I'm trans? It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, man. Squirrel Boy. Did you know he likes to take dick?
And that's
I'm telling you that he likes to take dick totally helps him in his battles against some would-be conqueror of a universe trying to take over all worlds. The knowledge that he likes to suck dick totally helps him fight against Magneto.
He saved the world by going up Galactus's ass. It's just like, why do they got to do that? Exactly. Why do they got to shove that in your face? I mean, okay, when we were talking about, gravity and depth in characters and stuff, Marvel has always been really good with that, even since its inception. I mean, you had Peter Parker, he had to live with his aunt and uncle, and he was a geek, You had Dr. Bruce Banner, and he had the anger issues, and which would turn him into the Hulk. You had, the X-Men who were mutants. And originally, they didn't really talk too much about the fact of what mutants were because back in the early 60s, they didn't think that the reading public would understand what a mutant was. So they kind of gradually introduced it into the storyline. But yeah, I mean, Tony Stark was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I mean, they all had problems. They all went to the bathroom and shit. They were real characters. But when you got to take it to such a level where the entire reason for a comic book line's existence
is based off of identity. What identity person
bingo.
has. Like, imagine if Iron Man was all about being this white dude who just likes to fuck high-class prostitutes. Oh, yeah. Instead of saving the world, instead of fighting low-key doom, we're going to tell you about sexual exploits and advancements for prostitutes. We're going to tell you all about how he likes to live the baller lifestyle, driving, and he's in the skyscraper building he lives in. We're not going to tell you about when he fought Dr. Doom. No, that shit doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, nobody would. That's basically PUA, the comic, and nobody wants to read that. Nobody want to read, a comic book where some dude's going into the club and shit, trying to pick up bitches and bringing them back to his penthouse in his Maserati. That's just not very entertaining. You know what I'm saying? I want to watch you beat the shit out of Doctor Doom.
Oh my god.
No, but it's true. I mean, Mortified illustrated exactly what Marvel's turning into, where it's just sort of like, you know, oh, I gotta take 3 pages out so Ms. Marvel we could follow Ms. Marvel's trip to the transgender clinic, so you know, so she could go get a dick. You know? I don't want to read that, man. Just don't.
That's funny. That is so fucking funny. But that's so true, though. It's so fucking true. It's so true.
It is.
I mean, no, man. It's funny, man. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Mortified gets it. Like, dude, it's like when you create comic book characters, man. Like, so fucking what the characters get. So what the characters. Bi, lesbian, whatever. Like, focus on the character at hand, character traits. Give them a good villain, whether they win or lose. And it's like, yo, like, just like focus on the character development, develop the character, make them like if a character was an irresponsible person, he had no self determination. He don't know where he was going in his life. A traumatic event happened in his life. Something happens to him. And he just so you know what, fuck it. I want to become a better person. He's learning to become, and he becomes a better person throughout it. And like I said before, that's the difference between a good writer and a bad writer. A bad writer is like a bad writer is focused on I gotta get characters. So I'm just going bad. I'm gonna mention every issue about how gay this character is. They gotta put a gay scene, like you said before, Mortified with you that energy. You know, like Tony Stark just around and driving miles right, hooking up with hot chicks and shit. But it's like, dude, it's like you gotta understand, like what Marvel don't understand, and I think what Marvel,
Iron Man Book 7, Edition 2. Iron Man goes to the sex brothel in Las Vegas. Like, we don't care about this shit. He fought Dr. Doom. Can you give us the canon shit?
Right, right. Yeah, give us the canon, exactly. You know, I people still want to read comic books to be entertained. We don't want to be edutained. We don't want to be educated when we're reading comic books. School's out when I'm reading a comic book. I don't fucking want to learn this kind of shit. I mean, yeah, you have to be knowledgeable, like No Filter was saying. If you're going to set something in ancient Egypt, you're going to have to research ancient Egypt to at least make that kind of milieu believable. But at the same time, like I said, I don't want to be lectured. I don't want to read a fucking textbook with pretty colors and pictures.
Yeah.
On some goddamn social subject. And that's exactly what is happening to the comic book. And you're right, No Filter. They are going to really take a hit in sales because of that exact reason. If they keep pulling these type of storylines.
But the thing is, Marvel. I think Marvel is the main problem of why this comic book crash is gonna fucking happen. But DC.
Oh yeah, they'll be the linchpin. Oh hell yeah.
I mean, Marvel's gonna be the main apple of the reason why this comic book crash. And to be honest with you, I think with the way things going on with digital nowadays, I don't think the comic book crash. I don't think the comic book industry can survive another crash, man. I'm sorry, one crash you can probably take and recoup from. Second one, nah, man. It's like a financial collapse where everything is going to shit. Where there's no laws, the computer database is wiped out, and it's like, you know, everything is reset. It's like, no, motherfucker, you can't come back. You can come back from it, but it's gonna take its time. But I think when I talk about this, when my comic book crashes, that I think DC is part of the problem too, because I blame DC too, because DC before DC Rebirth, they did New 52. And you got Dan DiDio, the head of the comic book division over there at DC. He had a kill list, and this is before I remember New 52 when this before Dick Grayson became Nightwing in Rebirth again. He was Agent Dick Grayson. I remember Dan DiDio had a kill list. He hated Roy Harper. I love Roy Harper and DC Comics, which is Red over in the comic books, and he later become Arsenal in the comics. And then you had what, Dick Grayson, who was Nightwing, and then they made him an agent, whatever, or Spyro or whatever. And it's like, I remember DC, but I blame DC too for the constant rebirth. You got Jeff Johns taking him 2 years to finish up storyline. I said, Jeff Johns, I love you as a writer, man, but it's taking you 2 years to finish up a story. People ain't got that type of attention span no more. You got Hulu, you got Netflix, you got TV, you got so much stuff going, other subgenre medias out there to keep them on. They got Game of Thrones, even though it's cooked as fuck now. Game of Thrones is, but
yeah, I know where that's going. Yeah.
It went full on Social Warrior, but everything I'm saying, people have
single episode of that show.
Yeah, people have other outlets. People have other outlets to watch subgenre medias. And I feel like comic book industry, what they don't realize, even DC needs to understand that Rebirth is good, but if you guys event hurry up, you better wrap that. You better finish that event. You gotta finish that up pretty fast, because people are not buying comic books no more. People are not even buying single issues. The last comic I brought was 2 weeks ago. The last comic I brought was 2 weeks ago. Like it was a Batman comic too from Rebirth, but that was the last issue I brought, and it was Azrael in it. So it's like, my thing is always been is like, my thing is DC don't understand is that DC Rebirth is a phenomenal series. I love Rebirth, but DC don't understand is that you reboot every 2 years. I give Rebirth. Rebirth is good now. Next year, 2018, they're gonna find some way to reboot.
Is it the same Azrael game?
Go ahead, Mohan.
Are you talking about the same Azrael that was in the Arkham Knight game?
Yeah, that Arrow. Yeah, John Paul Valley.
That dude was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool character.
But overall, what I'm saying is DC don't understand is that DC, it's taking you 2 years to finish a storyline.
No filter. You're absolutely correct, man. You can't just keep rebooting the universe, because what I was talking about earlier today, Marvel from 1961 on and up until they started with the Ultimate Marvel, they had a thick mythology. Okay, it was a very well developed Marvel universe. DC had the Golden Age, then the Silver Age, and then now they got the Modern Age and everything like that. They had to wrap that up.
Music.
Well, yeah,
rap music.
Well, yeah, I mean, what you had to do is what they had to do in the late 80s. DC had to do the Crisis on Infinite Earths. They had all these different timelines going around. They had to tie it all together and wrap it up and try to get a mainstream universe going. And now, no filter, you're right, DC keeps rebooting the damn thing over and over again. So it's like, will the real universe please stand up?
Like I said before, it's like I give it 2017, they're doing pretty good. DC gonna go DC Rebirth right now. And when the comic book crash happened, guess what happened? They're gonna reboot it. Something's gonna happen. Somebody gonna fuck up. Somebody gonna fuck a couple stuff. Say for instance, like you have 5 bad issues of Green Arrow, 5 bad issues of Superman, 5 bad issues. I'm just using it as hypothetical situation, right? Reboot, Batman comic books, 1, 2 Batman comic books, hit or misses, and people are saying, and you got Danny Dio, who starts to go in there and kill Hitless again, and they be like, well, we, I'm saying, oh, you know what? We having troubles here, so we're gonna reboot this shit. I'm like, you did this with New 52 already. You rebooted. Rebirth is a reaction to New 52. So what's gonna happen when Rebirth took a dive? Like, you know what I'm talking about? You can't reboot shit just because you do it. It's like the same thing I talk about. I hate this fucking movie when we fucking do it. It's like fucking Fox and they stupid shit. Like Fox will say, you know what? I know we X-Men in 1 and 2 was good. X3 Last Dance. Wolverine or X-Men, Wolverine's origins was.
Instead of rebooting shit, take a page from the creator of Samurai Jack. Just come out with more material, more content. Finish the shit.
Well, what's the one movie I forget? Days of Future Past. It was like, well, we're gonna fix everything with Days of Future Past. And have
I know what you're talking about. That was bad.
And it's like I hate that bullshit. It's like in comic books it works because in comic books you can get away with that type of shit. But in movies, like, no, fam, you fucked the universe up already as it is. stick to your goddamn guns. Learn from the first time, and don't make the same mistake twice, man. It's like like I look at DC movies currently. Besides Wonder Woman, which was an average film at it, was average film at best. It wasn't the best film. But it's like, look at these EU. They trying to fix shit. Oh, we're gonna announce a Flashpoint movie on the fixed universe because it goes, but Crazy Block can go into movies. Is that we're gonna announce a Flashpoint movie to reset the universe because Ben Affleck doing Batman no more. You put a shitty movie out called Batman vs Superman, and the director's cut was just added on bullshit. No. Bullshit is bullshit. Stop fucking trying to fucking reboot every goddamn thing because you fucked up. Fix the goddamn problems you need to get and stop trying to use time travel to fucking fix every goddamn thing. It's like, I hate that shit with a fucking.
When all else fails, time travel.
Right. They do it in comic books. It works because it's comics. In comic books, you can get away with a whole bunch of shit. You can get ridiculous costumes that won't work live action. So like, I understand that in comic book form, but in movies, it's the same shit, and it's the same thing with DC Rebirth. Like DC is gonna reboot. I give Rebirth for 2 years. 2 years, and after 2 years, they're gonna reboot it because they're gonna find some way to fuck up. They're gonna fuck it up, and the thing is, to me, but like I said before. This time when the comic book crash, I don't see the comic book industry coming back from this type of shit. No, because movies making too much money as it is. Warner Brothers don't give a fuck about the comic books. Disney and ABC definitely don't give a fuck about the Marvel division. Look, they sales declining right now. And you look at a lot of those books that sold, 19,000 sold. Those books that were just shit to the stores. A lot of people ain't buying Marvel comics, man. Like I was reading one article where I was reading one article and they said that people like a lot of comic book stores are not even because it's just dead weight. It's dead.
No shit.
I gotta say, you know who Marvel reminds me of? 2014 and 2015 Microsoft trying to sell the Xbox One when all they could do was give ship numbers because nobody was buying that shit.
That is pretty kind of close to what seems to be going on. No filter. Let me ask you something. Do you have a local comic book shop, a dedicated comic book store?
When I go to, is like 2 miles away from me, but it's not.
Okay. Well, when you go to it, talk to the comic book store owner and ask him what he thinks about that. I mean, is he getting nervous? Because I mean, seriously, this is his bread and butter, right?
Yeah.
If there was a comic book crash, he'd be really affected by it. Because these guys make a lot of money, and they make a lot of money off of people who buy comic books. And if he's worried about something like that, and if he's seeing ask him if he sees any kind of writing on the wall. Like what you're predicting. Because if he says then maybe we do have something to worry about.
I mean, but the thing about people don't understand is that look, comic books has been around for years. This before I was even born. Comic books have been around for years, man. And I can't imagine a world without it. Like in a way, I could see it because I mean the movies are making so much money. But here's the thing: what people don't realize with Warner Brothers and that's what Disney need to understand. Disney and Marvel Studios need to understand. You need source material. I keep trying to tell people this all the damn time. Fuck the movies, fuck what they try to tell you. You need the source material. And if your comics are shit, your movies are going to be shit. Because if nobody's not buying Riri Williams, who wants to see Riri Williams live action? I don't want to see. No, I want to see no Squirrel Girl live action. I don't care about Squirrel Girl. I never care. Look,
live action. That sounds like some bullshit.
Yeah, but I'm
like
saying, all I'm saying is that people don't realize that comic books are important, not just to the subgenre for people, but for the movies, because you need something to base it off on. Like, if you have
because like imagine if you didn't have comic books anymore, but they were still pumping out Marvel movies, right?
Yeah.
Let's say the collapse happened. No more comic books. There is no more Marvel publishing division at all. But the movies still keep coming out. The screenwriters are going to do whatever the fuck they want to with the characters. They're going to make a fucking Iron Man suit pink.
I would like to think the same for video game crash as well.
Yeah.
like all like others, like Gearbox, for example, Warner Brothers adding in microtransactions, the Shadow of War, Nintendo, all the other big AAA publishers. I'd like
Right.
if there was a crash, these motherfuckers they would have to change their ways and put out better material. And this would be a great opportunity for the indie developers to shine.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. What would happen with the smaller publishers, not just with video games, but with comic books? Because there's still going to be people out there who are going to create comic books, even though they're not within there.
But the thing about the comic book crash, I think that's the reason why it scares me the most, because not just that, I love comic books, man. Comic books, man, it's a good subgenre media to have, and I'm pretty sure there's kids out there, there's adults who grew up with comic books. And I can imagine the world where I look at the millennial generation, I look at my niece, I have a niece, whatever. I'm not gonna say what age she is, but my niece, I look at my niece, she's a baby. I'm thinking to my time where she don't grow up in a time where she don't grow up in a time where comic books not going to exist. And the reason why I think that this is a scary thing for anybody, whether you love or hate comic books, that's not the point. The point is, like, comic books is a subgenre that we all use to escape the real world. And you take that one subgenre away. Like I said earlier in the podcast, there's soldiers who read Captain America during war. You know how pivotal that is right there? Like, and people don't understand, and what the people that's writing the current writers at Marvel, and even fucking what's the chick name of Maggie Visaggio? The chick who's a whatever. These people don't understand these social words. You keep hiring these people, these diversity hires you keep hiring. They don't give a fuck about the lore. They don't care about the history of the characters. They just say, you know what? They just see a fictional character on the page. But for them, say you can take a veteran who fought in World War II. Say he's 80 years old right now. He's 80 years old right now. He grew up reading Captain America, and he's like, you know,
think about this.
Yeah, but
also think about this, because there is an overarching theme to all of this with the whole SJW crowd and these reboots, is that to rewrite history. Because as far as I'm aware of, Captain America in older comic book series already did that shit. So they're doing it again with history now as it is, and they want to change the history to suit their narratives. They are basically trying to rewrite and redefine everything. I would call these people by a name that I've already used for certain people in this community, and that is usurpers. They want to take over, and they want to rewrite, redefine, and change whatever to suit their narrative. And anybody who calls them out that they would deem as fake, when they're the actual
They're doing it in the schools too. They usurp the education system, and they fucking rewrite the history books and the school books. And you know, they make math all about feeling and stuff instead of facts and logic. That's you know, you'll have new math again or whatever under these SJWs running everything and ruining everything. But yeah, you're right, man. They have to remodel everything to fit their goalposts, and they do it with comic books. They do it with video games. They're doing it with, like I said, they're doing it within the education system. They've been doing that for a long time.
And a lot of people don't realize, and what these people don't realize is, like, what these social justice warrior and feminists don't understand is the fact that what works for you don't work for everybody else. You may live in this imaginary world where everything is sexist, misogynist, and you think this is racism, we need diversity. Guess what happened? I'm all for diversity if it's done organically. But if you force that shit down somebody's throat, force a gay character, like, here's the thing. I never liked the Batwoman in the comic books. I fucking hated her character. I never understood this whole thing. Oh, we have a gay character, but she's called Batwoman. I don't give a fuck, man. Like, just give me a character that's not fucking based off a goddamn gimmick. And I keep trying to say this all the damn time. When I create characters, I don't use gimmicks. I don't sit there, oh, this character's black, so I'm gonna play off that. No. I focus on the characters around them. I give them a solid supporting cast. Give them dope, complex villains, and keep it at that way. I am so fucking fed up with everything. Gotta be so goddamn. Oh, we gotta make gay people fucking feel gay. We gotta make gay people feel secure. Man, fuck them people. Man, they don't buy comic books. Fuck them. I don't care. I don't care about them. It may sound sensitive to a lot of people, but I don't give a fuck about transgender people, man. I'm not trans. That's my thing. Is that. And the people, like I said before, Johnny, you said it before. You got people, these social justice warriors is writing comic books. The social justice warriors, black people, niggas don't buy comic books, bro. Niggas don't buy comic books. And I'm talking about you got black nerds who do like me, but I'm saying most black these race-based idiots, they too busy focused on race and white supremacy and all this other shit going on. Like they focus on that. They ain't buying comic books. Gay people ain't buying comic books, nor is transgender people.
Right, yeah. It's funny that it's not their target audience, and that's the funny thing too. They're turning a comic book into a 26-page propaganda pamphlet.
And
that's what they're doing.
Yeah. And people don't realize the fact that it's the ones that buy the comic books. You got Captain Cummings, you got Diversity Comic Books. You got tons of people on YouTube that buy comic books that love it, passion, not just movies and TV shows, but that loves the comic books. They don't want to see comic books die out. But like I said before, like I'm mortified, man. Maybe a comic book crash could be a good thing because if we get some of these stupid, particular socialist warrior assholes out of who fix the damn problem. But I think the damage is already done. I think Marvel cannot come back from this, man. You know, when it crashes, because I do see a crash happening. I hope it don't happen no time soon, but if it does, I think Marvel already lost their fan base, and there's nothing they can do to come back. Even if they brought back the original characters to their classic personas, like when you look at Secret War, look at Secret Wars when Captain America was the agent of Hydra. He was an agent of Hydra and shit like that. And the issue number Nick Spencer gives up on that series and say, you know what, let's bring it back to it. Nah, motherfucker, you just can't write it. Nah, that was some bullshit what you just did. Oh, now he's a hero. Nah, motherfucker, he was a villain for 9 issues for Secret Wars, he was the agent of Hydra. No, motherfucker, you can't explain that. No, you gotta really explain it. No, it's a bullshit cop out. And they say, you know what? And they put the press release. Oh, we saw the fans. React, so we brought him back brought him back to him.
These SJW whoreson faggots, bastards. They're everywhere across entertainment. A particular gaming studio that comes to mind, which I've already had the negative opinion of, BioWare, the fucks that make Mass Effect. Guess what? One of their developers came out saying that they would be more candid with their opinions if gamer culture wasn't so toxic. So now we have more of these SJW fucks and bitches shit on their own audience and their own customers that allow them to live, sleep, and eat and survive off of their money by calling them toxic.
Yep, when you're starving and you got bread and butter, you don't shit on it.
I mean, well, Marvel don't realize the fact that them very same fans you call them assholes is the one that's stopping you from being homeless right now, sleeping on the side of a damn street. Same thing with the game developers. Just what you saying before, Modifies. Like, what these companies don't realize, same thing with the NFL and the NBA. These athletes want to be on this political bullshit, but LeBron James, when nobody wants to buy your shoe, you're going to be broke. Same thing with Stephen Curry and the Warriors.
They ought to understand how fucking lucky they were to get into any of those industries in the first place.
Yeah, they lucky as hell. Like, there's people who kill to be in a position, and all this political bullshit you're doing, it goes from sports to comic books to gaming. Is that when you talk down to the fans, it's calling them an asshole. Look, we pay your salary whether you know it or not. Look, well, I buy comic books. Yeah. I'm basically keeping Jim Lee, Danny DiDio, all these comic book writers at DC and Marvel. I don't buy Marvel comic books, but like at DC, I'm keeping them alive. Look, they don't realize that, and that's the thing I hate about society who want to go out their way talking about, you got people at Marvel talking about the fans are assholes, but those are the very same fans that's keeping your ass alive right now. If they don't buy your comic books, which they ain't buying, like you just say, Captain Marvel sold 90,000 copies. No, that's those issues shipped to the store. People ain't buying them comic books, and they don't realize the fact that when you talk down to the fans, treat them like crap, call them sexist and misogynist. Like, here's the thing. I'm a 28-year-old black male. I remember a time where, you know, if you see a comic book back in the day, you saw a Catwoman in skin type suit and a female show some skin a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. Sex sells in comic books. What's wrong with that shit? Then you got Socialist Warriors talking about, well, we can't have female drawn a certain way. We can't have we can't have Carol Danvers in a one-piece suit with a black mask on and this one-piece leotard and this little black mask on, the classic Miss Marvel. You can't have her dressed that way because that's sexist and misogynist and that's offensive to women. First of all, what bitches don't even buy comic books in the first fucking place? And only way because guys, so it's like, why are you trying to make a bunch of people comfortable? They don't even buy comic books. The same thing with the Wonder Woman movie. Look, let's be honest. I said 95% of female Wonder Woman fans were males. 5% of females probably didn't even know what Wonder Woman was before that movie come out. That movie comes out, now feminists saying, "Oh, this is empowering the women." Which I never would have Wonder Woman comic book now of your goddamn lifetime, and now you trying to say, "Oh, this is our character. This is women empowerment." You need
you know what they do? They just dress up in costumes and go to conventions and call themselves comic book fans.
It's like, and that's the shit. It's
you know.
Referring back to a point you made earlier about the whole these people don't buy their shit. Exactly. Do you really think that these pro-black faggots are just keen and they are anticipating the next pair of LeBron James shoes? They're not. So when I, who actually have bought a couple of LeBron James shoes, I'm thinking, since he's on that political bullshit, you know what? I'm going to support somebody else. Same with Marvel, because there's going to be other people that may be smaller buy the better product, you know? Why would I buy LeBron James' shoes when I can buy Patrick Ewing's shoes or Penny Hardaway's shoes? Why would I buy Marvel when I could go to, what's their name, Image? I could go to them. I could go to anybody else. And when you are left looking stupid without your customers, then that's when that epiphany happens. That's when that moment of you crying, realizing the harsh reality sets in.
Yeah, it's
and when you realize that moment,
like No Filter said, I mean, look at the hit in sales IDW took. Yeah, you know, they're gonna have to fucking learn that, man. Didn't that happen with GTA 5? Target refused to sell it during Christmas, during Black Friday or whatever. And they had to actually, they didn't make it into the black because of that one goddamn video game that they refused to sell. And they had to fire people. And they had to close stores.
So fuck Target of Australia. For all the Australian people listening to this podcast, do not support your local Target. Go elsewhere. Just Best Buy games, right? It's them. It's Amazon Online.
It's the same thing with Google. It's the same thing with Google when they fired the guy because he was talking about he had different political views, and they fired his ass because you can't go around firing people because they disagree with you. We all gonna have agreements, disagreements in life. That's part of life. It's part of being a human being. But the problem with society nowadays, it is something I like to call it the pussification of a pussified society. A pussified society. The moment you disagree with them, they want to call you misogynist and a sexist person. Look, I don't give a damn what fucking feminists think. Look, I want my female characters with some skin showing. Fuck that. Look, I'm a male myself. Look, I don't give a damn. Like, I don't give a damn how you feel about it. You don't buy the comic book. My thing is, if you look at a comic book readership, 95% of the male 95% that read comic books is males. That's a high percentage of men that read this shit. And how would you feel if you read a comic book and somebody tells you you're misogynist and sexist because you want Catwoman to show something, you want to show a little bit of skin in a skin tight cat suit? I'm like, it's a fucking comic book. It's a fucking fictional character. Why are you taking this shit serious and need to be? It's like, oh, this is degrading the women. I'm like, women have done much more degrading shit in the comic book. What the fuck are you talking about? And it's like, that's the shit that fucking pisses me off. Like, we live in a world today Where nowadays people are so pussified, where it was like I said before, these athletes taking political stance, man, racism in America. Like motherfucker, like motherfuckers don't want to watch your shit. It's what happened, dude. That fucking $1 million mansion you living in right now, this shit going foreclosure right now because you try to be one asshole because you want to take some political stance, all because you some fake conscious nigga, bro. I don't give a fuck about your political stance, man. Shut the fuck up, set the damn quarterback. I don't want to hear you fucking talk about your political issue. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just bad business in the first place. I mean, why would you cater to 5% of your readership and then shit on 95% of it, of your customer base? You're not going to make money. You're going to make 5% of the money. That's about it.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with this. It's the same thing with companies who got this fucking left-wing politics bullshit going on. Look, conservatives buy fucking shit too. You need same thing with. I hear so many people say, you know, being a black content. That's why I say I'm probably gonna do a stream about this shit too. It's so hard to be a black creator. I hate that word, black creator. Being a minority creator.
How do you think that woman? What's her name? Viola Joyce, I think her name is.
Oh, yeah.
How do you think her album was so popular?
Yeah. So it's like my thing is like I find it like I feel like it being a minority creator, man, it's so goddamn hard, man. It's like I'm trying to create characters that my people, well, not people, but people of color can actually come to say, you know what, man, you know, we are black characters, man, but man, you know, that's a dope issue. But it's like, you know, I have friends because I tell the characters I create. And they be like, so are your characters like activists? I was like, no, because I feel like one, I'm not talking down to the reader, and I gotta appeal to every audience. What? So you trying to appeal to white? So you agree with white supremacy? I said, what the fuck, white supremacy? Black power? I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, man, your character is dope, man, but it would be kind of cool to just racism in America. I'm like, dude, you read comic books to escape this shit, not live in it. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, what the hell? And that's the thing about being in the minority creator, man. That shit is hard as hell, man. Black folks are the only race of people that sit there and spend so much time talking about race. And that's why I say I have friends who create characters, and like they tell me about their characters, like, yeah, but my character's political. They call it white supremacy. I said your character's gonna fail by the first issue, but before you already failed before you got your first issue published. Which means like, dude, look, nobody wants to be talked down to, man. It's like if I'm making a character and I draw a character a certain way, yes, and if a female happened to read the book and she's drawn a certain way, she look at the cover and say, oh, this character is drawn a certain way. This character, I don't like the way this character is showing skin. And she never read the comic book. Like you can't judge a book by its cover. And the male's like, oh shit, I like the way she's drawn on this cover. I read it. They say, oh, this is a damn good comic book. But I feel like these people don't realize is like, look, yo, the bubble that these social justice warriors live in, or these people live in, that the left wing politics live in, they live in this bubble where everything is sexist and misogynist, and you're this and you're that, and if you're a piece of shit, if you're a Trump supporter, you're this and that. If you don't agree with Black Lives Matter, whatever the fuck. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Why are we talking about race in a damn comic book? It's a damn comic book. People read comic books to escape the shit. I read Batman comic books and punch Joker in the goddamn face. I don't want to read it. I don't care about race in America. I'm done past that point. Like after, especially that shit NFL pulled this weekend, I'm fucking fed up. Like, dude, like I'm fucking fed up living in America, and that's why I said on the SFM stream, like, dude, I just want to get up and leave America, just join a monastery, dude. This shit getting my goddamn nerves, bro. Like I never seen a pussyfied society just throw a temper tantrum that can't have their goddamn way. It is called life, man. Have it. Let people enjoy what they want to enjoy. Look, if somebody's a Trump supporter and they watch the NFL, let them watch it. They should not have to feel like a piece of shit because they voted for Trump, whether you disagree with his policies or not. Who gives a flying fuck? Let that person enjoy what they want to enjoy. That's the problem I literally have with modern day society. Not just my people, but just people, period. It's like a bitchified society. Athletes don't tend to tantrum. They part of the goddamn problem. Celebrities talking down to you, telling you a piece of shit because you voted for Donald Trump. And then you got the people, they got the idiots at Marvel telling you you're a piece of shit because you critiquing that damn work. You a goddamn comic book writer. You sign up for this shit. What the fuck?
Yeah, I wonder how that cunning stunt they pulled the other night is going to affect the Super Bowl. You know,
it's going to affect a lot, dude. It's gonna affect it a lot. It's gonna affect everything. And the thing what people realize that, like, I was watching The View this morning when I was at the gym, and it was just talking about the fucking. I'm like, God, like, can we just talk about this shit for 1 minute? Like, God damn, like, and that's the shit, that's the shit that pisses me off, that I don't understand. Like, I understand race. I know racism in America, it happens in this country. But can we get past this shit already? Like, God damn it, dude. It's like y'all motherfuckers made it out. You are part of the 1% that made it out. You got totally different problems. Their problems is waking up, going to Whole Foods, driving luxury cars, flying private jets. Guess what happened? Wake up every day. I gotta wake up every day. I live paycheck to paycheck, above average, trying my best to put in God's hands, trying to live my best life. Just like you, Johnny. Everybody working blue collar job that's trying to make it. Yeah. But when you sit there and you an athlete, you get paid millions of dollars a second quarterback and throw a football. What the fuck is your problem, man? Like, you made it out. What the fuck? It just, that shit pisses me off. Same with comic book idiots. Like, these comic book writers. I don't understand these people. Like, the same thing with these comic book writers. There was a time back in the day. And that's why I always say this. I admire this. Looking back on it now, I can admire. I respect Jack. I respect Jack Kirby and Stan Lee even more, because they was political, but they didn't beat you over the head with that shit. They was political, but they didn't beat you over the head and say you was a sack of shit because you did this and that. No, they talked about it, mentioned it in 1-2 panels, and they never addressed it beyond that point.
Yeah, and you know what? They wrote some really entertaining titles, and they invented some. Developed some really great superheroes and supervillains in the process back in those days. Man, Jack Kirby was phenomenal. Yeah. Fucking phenomenal. The guy's a legend. Then they bring on other artists like Bernie Wrightson to do, Swamp Thing. And they're like, is this going to actually work? This is not your average superhero, right? Well, this is in DC, but... And then Marvel eventually did Man-Thing, and I think John Byrne did his artwork. But I mean, they were able to, create that, horrific environment for Swamp Thing, and then Marvel did the same with Man-Thing. That was something that they were able to do back then, but now it's all about politics in every panel. And like I said earlier in this podcast, they're taking a comic book and turning it into a 26-page propaganda pamphlet. Every fucking issue.
Yeah, and it's like you talk it down to the audience.
Next up on Black Panther episode 70.
That's why,
Black Panther goes to fight the Ku Klux Klan. He goes down to Charlottesville and he does Taekwondo against Ku Klux Klan.
Oh man!
And I really feel sorry. I hate to say that. I hate to admit this shit, but it's true, man. That Black Panther movie, black folks gonna fuck that movie up, bro. Like, pro-blacks, they gonna fuck that movie up. They gonna find some way to ruin that movie for me, because I feel like I said before, like the streams I did, I was going out dressed those pro-black people. I'm like, dude, it's like, man, I'm like, yo, y'all need to stop being buzzkills and just live life to the damn fullest and stop being a buzzkill. Well, my thing has always been about this, and I stated this many times. I keep trying to say this shit, so I can't say it no more. The problem I literally have with society nowadays, it's like everything that people enjoy. It don't matter what it is. It can be comic books. It can be whatever. When you're trying to enjoy something, like people watch sports to turn their brain off for however many hours the games last just to watch it. People watch sports to escape that shit. Like, nobody wants to hear about political views when you play on a football field. Same thing with comic book writers when they write comic books. Shut the fuck up and try the goddamn comic books are right. Like, nobody wants to hear you talk about your little issues with Donald Trump. Like, look, when you ain't writing your comic books, fine. But when you writing your comic books and when you start the comic books, and what these writers don't realize, that these political stance they taking, it's affecting everything else. Because even after I recently brought a Wonder Woman comic book, and Wonder Woman comic. I forgot the writer of Wonder Woman, the current writer of Wonder Woman, DC Rebirth. It was even DC's going to this fucking left-wing propaganda bullshit. I'm like, God damn, Rebirth, God damn. Wonder Woman talking about sexism in America. I'm like, man, you know what, man? I'm about to, and I got a lot of it. Burnt that damn. I can't take it no more, man. I'm like, God damn it, man. I'm like, man, what the fuck, man?
Good job.
I mean, you can't take it no more. And I understand why motherfucker, like, for me, I was making a joke the other day with my friends. Look, I'm not a conservative, man, but this shit will make you become a conservative. But this bullshit is going on, man.
You know what? No, it's like what if you had this awesome movie out about Bigfoot, right? And like,
next up, Black Widow, episode 2, edition 20. Black Widow goes down to protect and defend Planned Parenthood and fights those extremist pro-lifers, saying that abortion is murder.
No, what if you had like a movie about Bigfoot and this group of campers goes into the woods and Bigfoot starts picking them off one by one, and it finds out like Bigfoot only kills the Donald Trump supporters. You know, it's like they gotta always like smack that shit. Actually, kind of funny.
God damn it!
It's like
they always gotta smack you over the head with that shit.
I mean, it's like I was reading this shit. No, and because like there was one comic book writer I follow. I forgot what his name, and I follow him. He's sitting there talking about Donald Trump, like, man, Donald Trump is the worst president ever. I'm like, God, really, man. And that's why I joined Twitter. I was on Twitter, 2013, 2014. I got off that shit. I'm no longer on Twitter, bro. I can't take it no more, bro. This shit will make you drive a little. It drives you fucking insane because everybody is so damn insensitive. Everybody got to talk about politics. Look, celebrities, if you make millions of damn dollars, you ain't qualified to speak on politics. I don't want to hear you not speak one time on politics. Same thing with these athletes. Your job is to entertain, shut the fuck up about it. Nobody wants to hear you. You are part of the damn problem. If you really feel that way,
but I have political opinions. I have political opinions too, you know. Even though I'm pretty blonde shell that doesn't have.
My thing is,
it doesn't have two stones to rub together to create a light over my head. Still, I have opinions, you know. Like, no, you don't want to hear your opinion. Shut the fuck up. You get paid to look good on camera, being, a whore, a bitch that could kick people's ass and look good. We don't want to hear your opinions. You're paid to look good on camera. Fuck all.
Yeah. And my thing is, my thing is, if you really care about people so much, take all the millions you make, give it to the poor, and you live in that same shitty neighborhood you grew before you had money. You ain't gonna do that shit. So stop acting like you give a flying fuck. Like, and same thing with these comic book writers. They talk down to people. I'm like, yo, you do understand the very same fans you insulting, right? Is the ones you alive. Like, I look at Jack. I talk about how I was watching the documentary about Bill Finger, the co-creator of Batman. You know how he created Joker and stuff like that, and how he died. And I looked at him. He was talking about his best friend came to his apartment. Not Jack Kirby, but Bill Finger, the co-creator of Batman. He fucking he died and he died broken in sleep. I said y'all gonna end up like Jack. Y'all end up like Bill Finger. I'm like, y'all. You do understand a comic book crash is not good for you guys, because I mean, and who I really feel sorry for is you got the writers, because there is some phenomenal writers out there who are phenomenal to the fans, who treat the fans with proper respect, and I would give them that. But you know what? They're making it harder for the good writers and the good artists to come along to get the proper respect, because that's what happened. A comic book crash for anything is not. It don't benefit nobody. Everybody's going to be affected, and you know who's really going to be affected by the most of it? The good writers and the good comic book artists that wants to do it. Now, like you said before, Johnny, there is going to be people out there who do novels, whatever, who still gonna publish comic books, but with Marvel being gone, and I said this, I kind of predicted this when Marvel brought Disney. I said Marvel buying Disney was the downfall of that company. Way before they even start making the movies. I said, you know what? They brought the company as an IP purchase, and you know what? The comics have took it down from that standpoint. And you know what? You notice, Johnny, Disney not even stepping in. Disney, they was like, hey, do what you gotta do, man. They don't need to give a flying fuck, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they took the money and run with that. And that's but like I said, even if they do. If Marvel collapses, there's just going to be no more, Marvel comic books created. Like I said, I do think that there will you'll just have to try to search and find the people that are creating comic books independently.
Yep.
And they're probably going to be doing it digitally because that's just the easiest way for it to sell. And hopefully, you know, there will be a lot of talented writers and artists that are making quality titles that you would actually care to subscribe to. I mean, that's what I would see in a world without comic books, so to speak.
I mean, but like I said before, the hardest part about this topic is that, John, let's speak hypothetically if it does happen.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think the world will stop? That people just still being shocked that they died?
I think that there's, by and large, most people are going to just see it phase out and just kind of be like, yeah, you know, I don't see comic books anymore, and I don't see baseball cards anymore either. You know what I mean? It's just going to be something that kind of many people, the average person is just going to notice that they're not there anymore. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, the grocery stores and Walgreens and the drugstores and stuff would have racks of comic books that you could buy, and they would have the current monthly issue every month. I mean, I haven't seen that in years, and I was just thinking about that the other day. It's like, yeah, you know, the supermarket doesn't have comic books at the aisles anymore, and neither does the drugstores. You know, you pretty much had to get them now online or at comic book specialty shops.
Yeah, I mean, but the $1 million question is that, do you think, because I think Marvel don't realize it, and here's what Disney gonna learn this the hard way. What Disney don't realize and Marvel Studios don't realize, here's the thing: there is no comic books division. What you gonna base the movies on? So the $1 million question I'm gonna ask you is, say for instance, like the comic book crash happens, Marvel, Disney and ABC, or the people that purchased Marvel and said, you know what, we're no longer gonna purchase comic books. We're gonna do digitally.
Okay.
With digital comic books, and they do that. I said it may announce 20 different titles, right? And they may do all right. Do you think that with the source material not being in the stores anymore, and people not being able to buy it, or because most people internet, especially my internet, is shit. It's okay because I got Comcast, whatever. But my point is like, do you think that with the comic book, if the comic book industry crashes, it's going to affect the movies during the long run, from not just Marvel movies but DC movies? It's going to affect all movies, because with the comic books crashing, that means what you gonna base it on? And like you said before, or just what you were saying before, I'm gonna let you talk. A lot of these writers, a lot of these studio directors, they're gonna be like, well, fuck comic books. Shoot, I can do what the fuck I want to do. Shoot, I can fucking make Superman a fucking faggot for all I want to. You know, like, so, like, I mean, do you think it's gonna long run? Like, do you think?
I think that's exactly what's gonna happen. I think what they're gonna do is they're just going to, you're gonna have the Hollywood screenwriting engine writing movies like they always do, and what they're going to do is they're going to make comic book movies still under the Marvel mantle, you know, owned by Disney, and they're going to write their notion of it because they don't have source material for it to keep it going anymore. They're going to have to wing it. You're going to be looking at a half-baked product, poorly written. People who do remember the source material, like you and I, are going to watch this and say, no, you got it wrong. It's totally, no, Iron Man would never fucking do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's
yeah, they will turn Superman gay. I don't know.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm trying to say. When if I'm president of a cinematic universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the DCEU, I will be slowing the fuck down announcing these movies, because the comic book crash is going to affect everything. It's going to affect the TV shows. It's going to affect the movies. It's definitely going to affect everything else, and all that stuff. All the unannounced movies. Like, I look at the Flashpoint movie being announced. A comic book crash. Let's speak hypothetically. Let's take the Justice League movie. Like, well, we're 2 months away. We're not technically 2 months away. We're 2 months away because what? of the first is on Sunday. So technically, we're 2 months out of Justice League coming out and Thor Ragnarok coming out. All right, comic books are still around here. All right, let's say Justice League does good. Let's say hypothetically it does good, make good at box office, critics love it, fans love it, whatever, so on and so. They decide to do a part 2 of Justice League. The $1 million question is, all right, so the comic book crashes, Marvel decides start to publish digital comic books, not physical anymore. Comic book shops are closing all over the country, right? All over the United States, right? So Justice League Part 2 coming out. What you gonna base it on? You give it to Josh Whedon if he decides to do Part 2 of Justice League. If Warner Brothers go with it for DCU and says, you know what? Well, fuck it. I can do what the fuck I want to do, and you know what? We all seen Josh Whedon when he's not directing. We all got Firefly from that point. So what I'm thinking,
or they give it to J.J. Abrams, or they give it to
Abrams. My point is, my situation, these directors are gonna start to go off doing their own shit, and then the people that read this material, they be like, hold on. You seeing Batman chopping people's heads off and shit? I'm just saying. I'm saying, like, that's how crazy it can be, right? It's like Batman would never say that. Batman will say and never do that. That is the dumbest shit ever. Like, what the fuck? And it's like you see Flash, you see Flash time traveling. He's breaking all line time travel. He reset timelines and going back to the. And it's like what the fuck is this crazy shit going on? Like, and you be like, what the fuck just happened? And, comic book crash, and that to base it on. So, and it's like when people don't realize that the movies will be affected by it, and that's why I get so mad at people when they say, "Oh, we don't need comic books. Comic books is just comic books, just not necessarily media." Yes, the fuck it is, because if you don't have nothing to base it on, what you gonna base it on? Because if you base it on like the current state of Marvel comic books right now, Marvel comic books are shit nowadays. It's shit. It's a shit show. And I look at Infinity War. I said this because I'm from Atlanta, and like I tell you flat out, Johnny, you know Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. You know that Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. The Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Marvel announced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was actually filmed. There was actually, I think yesterday they were filming a scene. I'm not gonna say where it was at, what location it was at, but they was filming a scene. It was, I guess it was stuck up on the Ant-Man suit. Like they were filming a scene there. Like they filming in my city. Like, so I understand. Like I'm not connected. I'm not part of the movies, but I'm seeing this shit. Like, yeah, man. But I really, if I was Disney, I would be ringing it. I will be like, we'll go back to what Renee was saying, fire some of these writers, man, because what Disney don't realize and what Marvel don't realize, that you can fall down. And they're like Stan Lee, I didn't mean Stan Lee and Dragon. I didn't mean Stan Lee and Dragon Con was a phenomenal guy. But my thing was, like, there is no more Stan Lees, no more Jack Kirby's, man. Those guys are gone. Like, once Stan Lee is dead, I hope you don't die no time soon. But once Stan Lee passes on, there will be another. I'm gonna say this. I can't say this no more. There will never be another Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in our lifetime. And if they are,
they broke the mold on that team. Yeah, that's a tough act to follow. Yeah.
So the thing is, are you going to get, because just right, like Nick Spencer, you're going to get Heather Antos, you at Marvel saying, you know what, fuck Jack Kirby and fuck Stan Lee. They, whatever they owe, they need to get with the times. And you know what fucking happens? A comic book crashes down. Everything from TV shows, because I watch a lot of comic book TV shows, and I was like, well, what you gonna base it on? Because you get rid of source material. It's like Game of Thrones. Like you look at the first season of Game of Thrones. I'm pretty sure more if I can speak on it. Like the first season of Game of Thrones. Like the first couple seasons of Game of Thrones followed the books. And then the editor was like, when one of the executive producers approached the guy who wrote the books, they was like, well, what happens after this book? Is, I don't know. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do it. And now it's the Cucker Thrones. I'm like to call it the Cucker Thrones, because they got the men's balls chopped off and shit like that. Whatever. And it's like women empowerment. You got like, man, y'all motherfuckers deviating too much from the source material, man. I'm all for deviating from something a little bit, but god damn it, man, this shit get on my goddamn nerves. And it's the same thing with Game of Thrones can happen to comic book TV shows and movies and the comic books. When you have nothing to base it on, people just gonna make their own shit up, and they'll be like, oh, okay, well, fuck it. You got Snack Side. Like, let's take Batman vs Superman as a sole prime example. I fucking despise that fucking movie. I love Batman. but I fucking hate that fucking movie. You know the reason why I
It
fucking
was
hate
an
that?
average movie at best.
Yeah, it
With
was
that
average.
kind of budget and with those kinds of characters, it was really just underwhelming.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, when you look at Batman vs Superman, I know a lot of people defend that movie. Batman vs Superman was a piece of shit. It was a Batman vs Superman was a pile of shit, just like the director's cut was. And it's like people like, well, watch the director's cut, it's no better. First of all, y'all need to stop using the director's cut as a bullshit cop out. Let me tell you something. I love Aliens. Okay, I love Aliens. I think Aliens is one of the best sequels of all time. But you know what, man? I don't got time to watch the director's cut, man. I watch the original cut. That's it. That's how I judge a product. Same thing with Marvel comic books. I don't give a fuck about, oh yeah, director's cut is so much better. No, that's after
First,
the
you have to pay even more, trying to nickel and dime your ass.
no. So my point is, like, creators, going back to this topic, is that, you know, the comic book crash, it's scary. It's a scary thing to think about, but it can happen though. It can happen, and I think people. I mean, people talk shit about it now. Oh, comic books don't mean nothing. It's like you always say, like I always say, you don't know what you got until it's gone. And when it's gone, they really gonna miss it and be like, damn, man.
Yeah, I would definitely ask your local comic book shop owner what he thinks about this, because believe me, that guy's got the facts and figures. If he's a good businessman, he's watching those sales like a fucking hawk. Yeah. And I bet you he's probably sweating it right now. I bet you he's worried. I mean, like you said at the beginning of our conversation, IDW lost $2 million, right?
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
That's for a company that size. That is a lot of money. That's a boatload of money, and that just goes to show how down the sales are. How many people are not reading their work? So let's think about how much Marvel's losing. You know, the comic book division of it. Nobody's buying Squirrel Girl, you know?
Nobody's not buying it. Nobody's not buying it. Like, and nobody's not buying Squirrel Girl. Nobody's not buying it. And people think, you know, they're always like, oh, you know, I hear some people all the time, and that's the thing that pisses me off with the comic book movies I hate, where like people say, well, I watch the movies, the comic books don't matter. Yes, they fucking do, because you need the source material.
I can't remember who it was, but Marvel Comics is so retarded. I can't remember what character it was, but it was some sort of young girl that teleported back in time before Captain America to fight Nazis. Like, that's just downright retarded. That's just really fucking retarded.
That's like SJW masturbation right there. That is dumb.
But a lot of people don't realize comic books. Take comic books. Look, I grew up on comic books. Johnny, you grew up on comic books. Mortify, you grew up on comic books. As kids, we grew up reading this type of stuff. War veterans read comic books to get to war. You take this away, just imagine a world where our comic books is going to be like. Like, where there is no physical copies, you have digital, but digital's like, it's like, I don't care about digital because you can't. It's nothing like buying a physical copy and reading it.
Right.
It's like digital is going to work, but my thing is that digital is nothing like special. You can't collect digital. Digital is just on your tablet. It's on your whatever you got it on. Like, but my thing has always been is that you take comic books
How
out.
are you going to become rare if the data of digital is already instantly available to everybody?
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the thing that scares me the most about comic books, man. Is that it's dying, man. And it hurts me. It pains me to see this shit. Like, it's like, man, I can't believe it's really dying out, because it's like, you know, people don't want to buy it no more. They don't want to buy it.
Yeah.
It's
But I
dying
mean,
out.
that's the thing. I mean, it's like it's dying out because the work that's out there is shit anyway. Nobody wants to buy it. They're not supplying, these comic book companies aren't supplying the demand for the stories that that their main readership wants to read. That's why, you know, I don't collect them anymore. That's why you can, you know, barely stand it either anymore. No Filter. Despite how much you love the medium, it's the content that's lousy. and it's almost like it's kind of hard to find an alternative to that. But anyway, I got to get going. Thanks for having me on. And
I'll put in the podcast anyway. I'll put in the podcast anyway.
All right.
Let me end this. But yeah, guys, this is episode 6 of Creators Block. Trying to see you next Wednesday. I don't know if you probably be off that day. I don't know, but whatever. Probably gotta work, but but it's episode 6, guys, of Creators Block. See you next time.